Tenacious Talks is all about embracing the spirit of tenacity. Host Carrie Ann Barron, empowerment coach and business mentor, believes that with the right motivation, you can do anything you put your mind, heart, and soul into. Carrie Ann and her special guests share strategies and insights in this Tenacious Talk that will inspire you to live life and do business in a way that works for you and comes from your truth. And now, here is your host, Carrie Ann Barron.
Hello and welcome to Tenacious Talks. My name is Carrie Ann Barron, and today in the virtual studio with me is Stacey Westman. She is also known as the Meals Maven, and I can't wait to find out more about what that all entails. So before we go any further, Stacey, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. The Meals Maven. Quickly, you got to just give us a one-liner. What does that mean to you?
It means that I love food and I like to help other people love food. Does that help?
It totally helps. Oh, that's great. You love food. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's tell our listeners a little bit about who you are and how you came to be the Meals Maven. So why don't we just have a little bit of a background of your background? Figure out where you started from.
I started as a mom grocery shopping and realizing I was getting priced out of grocery shopping. And so I decided to start planning my meals because I figured if I didn't know what I was buying and I didn't know what I was cooking, I would run out of money before the end of the month. So that was kind of my background where I started. It continued when I realized my children were really, really picky, and I had to find creative ways to put nutrition into their bodies in foods that they would actually eat.
How old are your kids? How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this now for about 13 years. My oldest just turned 13.
Wow. So you must have a lot of tricks up your sleeve then.
I have a few, yes.
Okay. So what does so you were married, you had a couple of kids, and you started to find that the food in the fridge wasn't really matching the budget for the end of the month. I'm kind of getting that's what initiated your path into into meal planning. But is there a little more behind that story, do you think?
Well, it started out as just a way for ourselves to make ends meet, and it continued on into finding more nutrition for our families. And as I went along, I found that I'm married into a very picky family. Every family gathering is chaotic because certain people only eat certain foods. And so helping plan meals for families and plan meals for friends, and I just realized I could do this as a business.
You know, I'm just thinking a lot about food. The very first thing is you love food, and then there's a lot of picky eaters out in the world. So how were you able to marry the two in that regard?
I think you need to work with what you know you don't like. My sister-in-law just refuses to eat cilantro, for example, and so when I'm making food specifically for her, I have to keep that in mind. And so when I'm planning meals for people that aren't my family, they always give me a questionnaire. They fill it out with things they like and things they don't like, and then I can manage to create meals that they will eat.
And how does that process work for you? Did you take any schooling, or did you go to college for anything? What is your background with cooking food and making food?
I took a couple of nutrition courses. I got a diploma in nutrition, and I got an advanced diploma. Those were more about the nutrition side of food. As far as food goes, it's been trial and error. Working with picky people, you test and test and test, and you get a very thick skin. So if my youngest tells me, I don't really want that for dinner, but Grandma and Grandpa are having hot dogs, I can kind of let that go and go, okay, go enjoy your hot dogs at Grandma and Grandpa's.
Why do you think that people are picky about food? What do you think that is?
Well, I think sometimes there's childhood fights about food when you're growing up. I know I grew up pretty not picky, but almost everyone I know has stories about being forced to finish everything on their plate, or they are forced to eat a certain food before they eat another food. For example, someone I know, they were forced to finish their cherry pie until they got real, like the next day for breakfast, they were served cherry pie, which I thought was a little bit insane. So they hate cherry pie to this day, and I can't really blame them.
So they wouldn't eat the cherry pie and it stayed on their plate and into the morning, and they were forced to eat pie in the morning?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Most people are like, that'd be so awesome, but given the context, yeah.
If you don't like something, forcing it is only going to create more negative emotions. And I think a lot of food is about emotion as well.
Well, okay, then I have to say I'm grateful that my parents tried to force me to eat blue cheese, because to this day I don't miss blue cheese in my life.
That's true. It's an acquired taste.
It is. What are some of the things that you've really discovered about yourself through this process?
I've discovered that I really like creating recipes. Recipe development is so much fun to me, being able to figure out what flavors blend together or what kind of meals work well with other meals. And I like finding ways to use up the leftovers so that things don't get thrown away. It makes me feel good to know that I'm not throwing food away, because food wasted is money wasted.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, how does the food get wasted? Like what happens to create that situation?
For myself, I think for everybody, I don't do it much now, but there used to be a time I would go to the grocery store and I would think, let's try this. This looks great. How about that? And I would go home and put it in the fridge, and I didn't have a plan for it, or I would get intimidated, or I would be tired, and it would eventually go bad and I would throw it away.
So that really brings to the concept of planning. So you started out with just your own plan, and then how did it sort of morph into becoming the Meals Maven?
I started doing it for family, and then I started doing it for friends. And eventually strangers were contacting me, asking me for help preparing their meal plans for the month. And I decided at that point that because I love doing it so much and it would be great to develop an income to bring into our family, I should start charging for my time.
Oh, I love it. That's such a great story, Stacey.
Thank you.
So you've been doing this unofficially for 13 years, is that correct?
I've been doing meal planning for 13 years as the Meals Maven. I'm going into my official second year.
So would you say you started more with the planning services or the consulting services? Because I see on your website you offer both types of services. So which one came first, do you think?
Planning, definitely.
Planning?
And as people got used to hearing me talk about food, they started getting interested in talking about their food issues as they developed.
And when you talk about the food issues, is that their preferences, or is it more the is there allergies that you have to consider as well, or health issues? What are some of the things that you take into consideration besides just being a picky eater?
Well, when they fill out their questionnaire, I find out if they have health issues, for example, high cholesterol or diabetes or anything like that. And so those things are taken into account when I prepare their meal plans. When it comes to the consultations, often I have them when they just receive news from a doctor. For example, one of my clients, her husband was just diagnosed with diabetes, and she did not know where to start kind of assimilating that information.
Okay. So where do you start with? How do you start with the survey? What would be some of the questions on that survey? And I apologize if you've already shared that with me.
No problem. Some of the questions are easy, like how many people are you cooking for? Do you like leftovers? Do you want to stock your freezer? Things like that. Other questions are, what is your comfort level on trying new foods? How do you feel about specific flavors or spices? Is there anything you absolutely hate that you will not eat? Some of the questions are about your health. I am pregnant. I am trying to get pregnant. I am pre-diabetic. I have cholesterol. I have high blood pressure. Anything like that, those questions, those are things I need to know when I prepare their meal plans.
Okay. So it's not just a simple craft dinner for lunch and
No.
toasted jam for supper or dinner or anything like that. It's much more complex than that. It
Yes,
sounds
every meal plan is from scratch as much as possible, and it's developed in my kitchen and tested in my kitchen with family and friends.
so you test in your kitchen with your family and friends. So that sounds like a little bit of sort of like home chef cooking or trial and error. What do they call it? The Canada's Top Chef on on
Not
TV.
quite as intense as the stadium kitchens, but there is some trial and error, and there is definitely this is the worst thing I've ever tasted moments from my youngest son.
Oh,
I have,
really?
oh yes, and I have friends as well because my husband and I have very different taste buds. I like just about everything, and he can pull out little flavors that I think most people don't notice. So I don't just rely on his opinion either.
Oh, well, that's good. And I'm guessing your education. So, okay, I just have to go back a second here.
Sure.
Your son is almost 14, and you've got your nutrition, your diploma in nutrition, as well as an advanced diploma in nutrition. So, when did you make time to do that?
It was while they were in school mostly.
Okay. Wow. So, okay, so you're I want to keep talking. I want to find a little bit more about what do you do once you're starting the meal planning, and how do you help people, and some of the main questions that come up. But before I get into that, do you mind if we go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of your meal planning of the Meals
Excellent.
Maven?
Sure.
Excellent. Okay, awesome. We'll be right back, guys.
Ladies, are you ready to rediscover your passion, but feel that your age may hold you back? It's time for you to feel re-inspired and connect with women just like yourself. Fabulousat50.com is an online community and magazine aimed to celebrate you. As mothers, wives, sisters, aunts, and friends, you are in the most vibrant time of your life. Embrace fabulous by exploring and creating new experiences. Ask, if not now, when? Answer that question by visiting Fabulousat50, that's number 50.com. This online community offers not just a great magazine, but also hosts fun and inspirational events. Fabulousat50.com, where your lifestyle is our motivation.
Welcome back to Tenacious Talks. My name is Carrie Ann, and with me in this virtual studio today is Stacey Westman. She is also known as the Meals Maven. And Stacey she was just sharing a little bit about her services, her meal planning services, and some of the consultations that she does. And now, Stacey, welcome back. Thanks for holding on, but thanks for being here.
No problem.
What I really want to talk about is there's obviously, you were talking about food preferences and health issues. So this is really a customized service that you're offering, is it not?
Yes, it is.
So explain to me, what do you mean by customized? When you're going through the meal planning process, you've got these answers from the survey that they filled out. What do you do? How do you go through that process once you've got that initial base started?
Well, if they have health issues, that is the very first thing I take into consideration. Several medications will conflict with different kinds of food. So I have to make sure that any medications they're on, any health issues they have, that I don't start adding foods to their meal plans that are going to impact their medicine or impact their health in any way. That's a major, major concern for me.
And
sorry.
Most people don't even put that into the equation. So the fact that you're aware of that will help your clients immensely, because most people just don't think about matching their medication with the foods that they're putting in their body.
Yes, it can make your medicine ineffective or harmful. So it's important to pay attention to that.
Okay, so the first thing you do is you check to see if there's any health concerns and any conflicting medication. What would be once you get that established, what would be your next step?
I like to find out what kind of flavors that my clients would like to try, or what kinds of proteins they prefer their meals built on. Here in the West, we eat a lot of protein, and But a lot of people say want to work with soy or vegetarian or they're vegan. There are many, many kinds of foods that they will not eat. And so it's important that I have an information based on that as well.
Okay, so what about the recipes that you use in this meal planning process? You talked a little bit about taste testing, but how do those play into the customization of the process?
All the recipes I use are my own. Either I've developed them over the years while my children were younger or in my younger years, or I develop them now specifically for each client. So it depends on their preferences. If they want to eat fish and seafood or they want to eat beef or poultry, it depends if they have what kind of tools they have available in their kitchen. If they need, if they have a slow cooker to use or a grilling pan, I take all those things into consideration when I develop their meal plan for them.
So what if a customer has a request for a specific type of meal plan, say all freezer meals, and what would that look like for you?
Well, depends on what they want specifically. A recent customer has requested that, and she also had a list of specific spices that she had. She didn't want to go and fill her pantry with food she's never going to eat. And so I developed a meal plan for her specifically using the spices she has within the comfort zone of her family. And so she's got 30 freezer meals ready to go. Whenever she feels like taking one out, she can pop it in the oven and have a meal ready.
Wow. How did you find the recipes to support her spices?
I took all the spices out of my cupboard that were the same as hers, and I started blending different ones together to find out ones that tasted really great together.
Now that if there's ever a definition of customized, that is it. I have to say.
Thank you.
So yeah, no, it is extremely powerful what you're offering, because I know in the past, I've explored with different meal planning options, and I've gone on some diet plans like, say, Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig, and they always say have this food, but it's food like salmon. I don't like salmon, but they'd be suggesting I have salmon for supper. That would not be the case with you at all, right? If I said no seafood, you would not put any seafood on my meal plan whatsoever?
There would be no seafood on your meal plan at all.
Oh, I like it already. And if I said I only wanted chocolate, what would you say to me?
I would tell you there's not enough nutrition just in chocolate, and you need to have other foods as well.
Love that answer. It's great. See, this is the great thing, is you can really engage your clients with this whole process and figure out what their weaknesses are. Like, my weakness is potato chips, to be honest. I mean, I enjoy chocolate, but I love my potato chips. So would you support and create meal plans that sort of support that indulgence, or would you really try to convince me not to eat potato chips?
I have my own weaknesses when it comes to food. And I don't believe that you should deny a taste of things that you love. And I know that I'm not the same as other people, but for myself, I can't live without chocolate. So every day I let chocolate into my life. So there would be some meals that would support your indulgence. Not a lot, because potato chips, aren't actually good for you. But there would be some, because life is short.
Yeah. Okay. So how long would it take you to go through this process? So she says, I only want to use these spices, and you're like, oh, I don't really have any recipes designed. There's other spices mixed in. And I see on the website it also talks a little bit about different cuts of meats, because for me, I would only eat white chicken or ground hamburger, for example, so different types of cuts of meats. How long does it take you to put together this customized package for them?
Within the first week, the clients get a first week recipe list and grocery list to go with it.
Wait, a grocery list?
Yeah, every week they are released with their meal plan. They get a grocery list telling them exactly what they need to create those meals.
Okay, so you're not just offering me a customized meal plan, you're also offering me a customized grocery list.
Yes.
Now that's cool.
Thank you.
That is really, really cool. Are your clients surprised to receive that, or is it kind of like an added bonus, or
It
what?
is.
Yeah.
Providing the grocery list is part of my service because you can't create those meals if you forget to buy something that. And then grocery lists are. A lot of people find trouble in the grocery store. Staying on track, remembering what you need, not buying spur of the moment things. If you have a list, you know what you're buying is what you're going to use. And so you don't waste as much money that way.
Right. And I don't know, I've kind of learned to walk on the outside of the aisles rather than going down the aisles. Is there a sort of a plan with the type of foods that you use in the meals? Is that kind of more, you know what I'm trying to say?
I do. It's typically more fresh, yes.
Okay.
You will go down the aisles with the bagged goods such as brown rice or beans, canned beans, or whatever you choose to have in your plan, because those are those kind of pantry staples. You probably won't go down the pudding aisle. There won't be a lot of room in your plan for extra cookies and chips.
Darn it.
Sorry.
That's okay. Well, no, this is so I am really impressed with your services because it's not just meal planning. It's not just here's a bunch of recipes that you can eat or a bunch of foods that we're recommending. They are tried and true. They are personally developed by you depending on the person's interests and taste buds and health conditions. And I'm guessing even their goals. Is there a purpose to them wanting this meal plan? Is it to get healthier? Is it to lose weight? Or is it just to eat better? I might be putting words in your mouth right now, but what are some of the reasons people would want to use your services?
Those are some of the reasons I've been given. Okay. Some are also saving money. Grocery shopping is one of those variable expenses that we can work on. There are some expenses that your mortgage is your mortgage. You can't really adjust that payment. But grocery shopping gives us a lot of leeway to play with different numbers. And so saving money is a very big motivator for a lot of people. It also makes dinner time a little less stressful when you know what you're going to cook and you know that your people will probably enjoy eating it. That is a big deal to a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, totally. So I guess there's one question that I have to ask. What if your kids or your husbands don't like what I'm making? So I don't have a kid or a husband, but say a mother came to you and said, but I like all the recipes, but what if my family doesn't like it? What if they don't like what I'm serving?
I think my answer for that is to start small with your expectations. Ask them before you do this. Say, I'm going to put new foods in our family. Will you try it? So they don't have to love it. And I tell my kid that all the time. My youngest is my picky one now. And I tell him all the time, you don't have to love it, but I would really like you to taste it and tell me what you taste. And I think that's not going to work for everyone because everyone is picky in their own special way. But if you talk to your family and say, we're going to try this, how comfortable are you? Will you try a new food once a week? Then the rest of the month they can populate their meal plans with foods they know the family loves and slowly integrate new foods into their diets.
Mm. I really want to use your services, and I think I will be very soon.
Thank you.
And it's an alternative solution. Like it sounds like the way you're explaining it, it does seem very common sense to take these into consideration. But with the stress and the overwhelm that so many people are experiencing on day to day, they find it much easier to go to the fast food or the processed, and you're making it just as easy to go in that lane by providing them with, this is what you're going to be eating and this is what you need to purchase. And it will save them just as much time going through the fast food line as it would be to be fully prepared when you walk into the grocery store.
That's true.
That's how I'm seeing your services.
Thank you.
So you're getting me off fast food. I love it. So Stacey. There's one question, because we're getting close to the end of the conversation, if you can believe it or not. It's been almost 25 minutes already. I know, time's flying by. I'm imagining that you're feeling the same way.
Yes.
And so, what is your favorite? So, I imagine a lot of people have this question. And what is your favorite to go to meal at the end of the budget when you're short on food in the fridge?
Hands down, it's going to be soup. Because you need so little to make a good pot of soup. You need a stalk of celery, 1 carrot, a container or a bag from your freezer of chicken stock or vegetable stock. You need so little, just a handful of beans and a handful of pasta or a few peas. Anything you have, you throw in, and you can make an amazing soup with what's left in your fridge.
So no, you're no longer throwing out the leftovers. Your leftovers are sort of designed to make that extra can or pot of soup. But even if you're not following your plan, you can find those things, right?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I love it. What is your favorite soup to make?
I'm partial to turkey soup with dumplings because I grew up eating that.
I love it. You're so awesome. Okay, we're going to have to wrap up now. So I'd love to have you back and maybe share some of the different types of recipes that you've come up with over the course of these last 13 or 14 years. How does that sound?
Sounds great. Thank you.
Excellent. Is there anything you would like to tell people as we're wrapping up? What is the number one thing you'd like them to take away from our conversation today?
That food isn't too scary when you give it a name, and that being creative in the kitchen takes practice, but a little bit of work goes a long way to saving money and time.
Beautiful message. I love that one. Thank you so much, Stacey, for sharing your insight, your wisdom, and your knowledge on meal planning and how to take your love of food and really make it work for you.
Thank you for having me.
Take care. And everyone, thanks for listening. And, Stacey, how do they find you? What's your website? We almost forgot about that.
That's okay. You go to TheMealsMaven.com.
Mealsmaven.com? TheMealsMaven.com.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. And we'll have that link posted on the website as well. So thank you, Stacey. It's been great chatting with you, and I look forward to talking with you again.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Carrie Ann.
Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
Are you interested in appearing on Tenacious Talks? Do you have a tenacious spirit and transformational story to share? Carrie Ann wants to hear from you. Contact her at www.tlrstation.com. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.